"We will never stand next to you. You are the disgrace of this family." My dad refused to attend my Silver Star ceremony, so I gave his VIP seat to my aunt instead. On live TV, the Pentagon surprised her with an incredibly valuable gift. Just 1 hour later, my phone screen flashed. 49 missed calls from my parents. I stared at the screen without moving. 49 missed calls, 27 text messages, 5 voicemails. The people who hadn't cared enough to call on my birthdays for the last 12 years suddenly couldn't stop dialing my number. I turned the phone face down. They could wait. I'd spent my entire childhood waiting for them. My name is Captain Daniel Hayes, United States Army. 3 days earlier, I had stood beneath the bright lights of the Pentagon while a senior general pinned the Silver Star to my dress uniform. Cameras flashed, military families applauded, reporters scribbled notes. It should have been the happiest moment of my life. Instead, every empty seat in the audience reminded me of one thing. My family had chosen not to come, not because they couldn't, because they didn't want to. I grew up in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. To outsiders, we looked like the perfect American family. Dad owned a successful construction company. Mom volunteered at church every Sunday. My older brother, Tyler, was the hometown hero, football captain, prom king, future business owner. Then there was me, the quiet kid who preferred reading history books over throwing footballs. Dad used to tell people he had one real son. He always laughed after saying it. Nobody else did. Whenever Tyler won another football game, Dad invited the entire neighborhood over for a barbecue. When I graduated at the top of my class, Dad forgot the ceremony. He claimed he had more important things to do. Mom stayed home with him. The only person sitting in the audience cheering for me was Dad's younger sister, my Aunt Linda. She screamed louder than every parent there. After graduation, she hugged me and said something I'll never forget. Sometimes God gives you the wrong audience first. At 17, I walked into a recruiting office. Not because I wanted to escape, because I needed somewhere people earned respect instead of inheriting it. Dad exploded when he found out. "You'll throw your life away. The military is for people who couldn't succeed anywhere else." Tyler laughed. "So, you're getting paid to take orders?" I looked at Dad. "Will you at least come when I graduate basic training?" He stared at me for several seconds, then said the sentence that stayed with me for years. "We will never stand next to you. You are the disgrace of this family." Mom didn't argue. She simply looked away. That hurt even more. The morning I left for Fort Benning, nobody came outside except Aunt Linda. She handed me an old leather Bible that had belonged to Grandpa. Inside the front cover, she'd written, "Go where you're appreciated, not where you're merely tolerated." I carried that Bible through every deployment, including Afghanistan, including Iraq, including Syria. Military life wasn't glamorous. People imagine medals. They don't imagine sleeping in freezing rain, missing Christmas, watching empty chairs at your own wedding because you're deployed, or calling parents who never answer. During my first deployment, I called home every Sunday. Dad rarely picked up. Mom usually kept the conversation under 2 minutes. Tyler only called when he needed money. Eventually, I stopped trying, but Aunt Linda never missed a week. Sometimes she'd stay on the phone for 2 hours. Sometimes she'd just listen. When packages arrived overseas, soldiers joked that I had the coolest aunt in America. Homemade cookies, family photos, handwritten letters, even birthday decorations folded neatly inside envelopes. She remembered everything. My promotions, my anniversary, my daughter's birth, my wife's surgery, everything. Years passed. I became a ranger, then a captain. I led soldiers who trusted me with their lives. That trust meant more than anything my father had ever denied me. Then came Operation Iron Shield. Most details remain classified. What I can say is this: a humanitarian convoy carrying American doctors and children became trapped after an enemy ambush. Our helicopter couldn't land. The roads were mined. Retreat wasn't an option. For nearly 7 hours, we fought through heavy fire while evacuating civilians one by one. One of my sergeants lost consciousness after shielding 2 children from an explosion. I carried him nearly a mile, then went back for another wounded soldier. Nobody was left behind.